Hickok 45 here, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Tennessee. Let's shoot those hills. Hate to miss on the first shot. Yes, the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee, the home of Minnie Pearl, Elvis Presley, Jeff Quinn, Johnny Cash. All sorts of people have either been born here or moved here. And you can see what I have. Don't have any music, so you haters, music haters will love today. I can't get a signal over here today for some reason. So we're musicless unless I sing it. You don't really want that, do you? But actually, we do have music coming from this beautiful 45 I just unloaded. Yes, Colt 45 single action. What a lovely firearm, the Davy Colt. Just decided I hadn't shot it for a while and wanted to bring it out and limber it up a little bit, okay? While you all are around. Most of you have seen it, you know, the beautiful stag grips and everything from Eagle Grips, and fitted by Colt and everything, as it was made in 2016. Right, it's been 5 years, hard to believe that, since I bought these. Yep, 45 Colt, great chambering, great piece of history. I've been playing with a lot of pieces of history lately, as you have noticed, with the muzzle loaders. Hope you have seen the 1855 Springfield video. I'm sure most of y'all have. That is quite a piece of history, just a real privilege to be able to shoot that. I posted this week, whenever that was, Tuesday? Yeah, I'll lose track. But yeah, this past week, I just love getting those Civil War rifles out and these Colt single actions out. Beautiful, beautiful. So we'll talk about that. Glad you're here. Gosh, it's Sunday already, and here you are out in the woods with me. Kind of chilly, but not horrible yet. So that's why I'm out here shooting. And pretty cool. Speaking of approval, I wish y'all would approve of me. No, speaking of approval, I hope before too long to be getting my AK. You know, it's been a long road, and I really just haven't thought about it. I've brought it up a couple of times, but I've not talked really much about it. I don't even think about it too much. If you ever purchase a Class 3 firearm, even a suppressor, I don't think they take as long, but something like that, you know how it is when you buy a gun. It used to just kill me to have to wait 3 days when there was a waiting period on a firearm. You know, it's like so dumb. I have guns at home. I got to wait for this gun. And you know how it is when you buy something. It's right there. Can't have it today. Crazy. And I mean, now we have the instant background checks, but with the Class 3, yeah, it can be many months and can be, and mine has been, I'm going to lose my target, I can tell. I'll have to shoot again before I do. Partly because it went, Form 4, I get confused about all the forms. John's more of an expert on that, but it was owned by some private individual, then went through a dealer in Ohio, and then finally came through. It's in Nashville now. I'm waiting on final approval. So it had to go, I guess, be transferred twice and everything. But it's been literally a year and a half since I bought it, I guess. And it's, you know, it's probably worth another, I got a pretty good buy on it, not a steal, but a reasonable price on it. It's probably worth another $5,000 to $10,000, you know, since I bought the thing. Okay, before you blow away, I'll blow you away. I'll tell you. Let's blow that blue 2-liter away. It's in a red plate. A little trouble getting there. I seem to forget you have to take aim and shoot, and this print's a little high. So yeah, anyway, you don't want to as soon as you buy something like that, or even a suppressor, oh gosh, I wonder when it'll be here, because no need, just forget about it. And that's kind of what I've done. But as it's getting closer now, I'm thinking about it a little more. All right, not that I'm lying awake worried about it. I have some other guns to shoot. All right, and this is one of them. She's cleared. You know how you tell if one of these is clear? You put it on half cock and you spin the hammer, right? Spin the cylinder. There it is. It's a beautiful, beautiful firearm. Let me hold it so you can see it. Maybe that'll be the thumbnail. How's that? I'll smile. Okay, so anyway, a beautiful piece. If you don't know the story of the Davy Colts, yeah, please go back to the video. Is called Colt Single Action Army, 3 Generations. Okay, for sure that's the exact title. Colt Single Action Army, 3 Generations. Okay, because before my grandson was born, I commissioned a Colt. I called them up. I didn't think they could do it. I didn't know. And yeah, it was an expensive phone call. Turns out they could, but it would take time. And it did take time. Oh, well, about almost a year, I guess. But I ordered 3 Colt Single Actions in consecutive serial number. All right, watch that video. And one in 7.5, one in 5.5, and then one in 4 3/4 barrels. So, and they all look like this. All have the stag grips and everything, and color case hardened blue. But just gorgeous. They did a good job, man. 3rd generation, and they did a good job on them. Really did. Hard to believe it's been 5 years. And I shoot it, even though they're consecutively numbered. John shoots his. Eventually, Davey will shoot his, and they're for shooting. And I'd rather hand them down having been fired and having been enjoyed, than just a wall hanger or a safe queen. You don't really want to hang something like this on the wall, probably, unless you got incredible security. You could, but we've got pretty good security. But I still keep the more expensive things, locked up. Most everything locked up in a safe. But unless it's some junk gun or something, muzzle loader. They're not junk, but not highly. Well, they're locked in safes too. But I mean, everybody's probably got some old muzzle loader or something like that, or some old single barrel shotgun they just maybe lock in a closet. It's worth $80 or that kind of thing. If they don't have room in a safe, you end up having to triage some things like that. So, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to shoot some bullets if you can. One thing, speaking of bullets, one reason I got this out is I hadn't shot it in a while. I have not fired it, and I love these things. And I actually, you're not going to believe it, I dusted off one of my Dillon presses this week. I cleaned up the reloading room to a point where I could actually find the press. And I think it's been 10 years, round about 10 years since I've reloaded anything on that press. Because I do binge reloading anyway, and always have, and get all my brass together for a caliber. Like I told you, I found a ammo box, 50 caliber ammo box full of 10 millimeter, 1,000 rounds. I don't know what's in it, I forgot. But then I forgot I had loaded up, because I just, at some point years ago, I just binge loaded. If I would get all my brass together, get enough primers, get everything I need, powder, and then once I get it going, everything's set right, I just, it's like, I may want to load something else in a month, or next week. So I just go ahead and don't change back and forth, dies back and forth, even though it's not hard with the Dillon 550. And that's just the way I've always done it. And so that's the reason I've not run low on some hand-loaded ammo for a long time, like 45-70. I don't shoot as much. I shoot federal mostly, and but I'm just out plinking around, shoot my own ammo, and I'll, I've getting a little bit low on the lead Colt 45 ammo, and then seeing it, for sale places, $85 a box and that kind of thing. And wow, I need to check, see what I've got stowed away. in terms of 45, I knew it had about 1,000 at least bullet heads. That's just the bullet, the lead. And I always use the same type, 250 grain. And I got an ammo can, a large one, of primers I've had for about 20 years, and a variety of primers. And I just haven't used them, and stocked them up long ago. I'm kind of a prepper, you know. I stock that stuff away when I find it on sale and everything. And I looked in there. Yeah, I got enough large pistol primers. I can load a few thousand of this or that, and so I got the thing cranked. I take it apart, you know, clean it. It was a little rusty in a place or two, and started having a little trouble with the primer feed, and I had to take it apart again. And about 600 rounds. I figured, what's going on with that? And couldn't figure it out. Put it back together. Oh, geez, I probably should just buy a new 550 Dillon, you know, or something. I said, well, let me take that thing apart again. And I figured out it was the plastic tip on the primer tube and something. And I got it working again. And so, I mean, they are a marvel of engineering, the Dillon presses. They sure are. And so I've been loading and enjoying it. It really had been a long time. You folks who reload know what I'm talking about. You hand load. It's a relaxing endeavor. Of course, I've done it since 1974. This is just really, by far, the longest stretch that I've not hand loaded. Lordy, up until the last 10 years, I probably haven't gone a year without hand loading. But yeah, I just busy, you know, and you know, with federal's help, you know, that's a big factor, and just clutter and time, just too much to do, you know, and kind of got away from it. And I had stocked up for what I need of things for personal use. You know? So anyway, it was kind of neat to get back into it, and it really was and is. And so I may never load 9mm again. I don't know, in different things. But I mean, I stock ammo up. I get it on sale and everything, and Federal's good about furnishing our ammo and all that. But there are certain things in the classic line, like I always want to have some lead 45 Colt, you know, a traditional 45 Colt. I shoot Federal ammo, and often, as you know, through the years, I'll pull out some of these to shoot in the video too. And then some I have to shoot black powder that I've loaded or bought. But so I always want to have some of those on hand. And I do a lot of woods hiking, as you know, shooting. You see me post videos on, or not videos, but the pictures on Instagram. If I'm just out hiking around with a gun, you know, the real Hickok 45, I just post a picture over there sometimes. And I said I was going to take a picture of the table, then I didn't do it. Maybe I'll do it while we're talking. How's that? Put it on Instagram. All right. But I would. But yeah, I just want some traditional, you know, ammo, lead, and I also with 4570. That's another one where I want to make sure I have some traditional ammo. You know, just 405 grain lead bullets. You know, loaded up, and you know, I have the Springfield trapdoor. The one made in 1879, right? And so I don't want to shoot the Federal ammo in that. That'd be a little hot, I think. And I mean, it may not, but I'd just rather, I've got a light load, and I also have a source for ammo. A guy loads guns just for the vintage guns. But so anyway, after I get some of my 45 Colts back, I'm going to load up some of that. So let me put, let's see, well, I want to get all this closer together. Okay, this is going to be on Instagram. There you go. Okay, picture of the gun. I said something about that last week, and I didn't do it, did I? Yeah, about posting a picture of what the table looks like. And sometimes I have a lot of stuff out here, a couple of guns, magazines, and all that sort of thing, and you don't get a close-up of it. You know, I got too lazy to do that. I mean, I could do that, just kind of change the style. But style, like I have any. So anyway, I've been back to the press, and I'm going to switch it over and see if I've got everything I need to load a few 4570s. And that'll be kind of interesting too. I'm just not loading that so long. And you all know what I'm talking about if you hand load. Now I see a lot of comments from people when we're shooting vintage guns, like this, or the muzzle loader, the Civil War rifle muskets I have, about how it's just so much more relaxing, and there's a zen thing going on there. I see people make those comments quite often, and they're so right. You all are so right. It's probably some of you, right? Because you are serious gunners, or you wouldn't be watching this, or you're seriously mentally ill, right? You wouldn't be watching the Sunday videos. So you know what you're talking about. There really is something there. It's just different when you're not blasting away so many rounds. Nothing wrong with doing a lot of blasting. You see me with an M60, right, harvesting a Christmas tree. I mean, doesn't everybody do that? But that's fun. But so is this, or shooting something that's a single shot. If you don't know what I mean, I really can't convey it. You just have to experience it. You really do. All right. Should I send one out there a little further? No, let's shoot the cowboy before we do anything right here, because that cowboy deserves to be shot with a single action. Yeah. So does the hog. Now let's send one out there. I heard it hit just below it, I think. I have to be careful with this one. It shoots, it prints high, and I really honestly have not worked with it enough at longer ranges to get a feel for where exactly to hold with it. I mean, it's just as accurate as any others I have, but you want to see, I wasn't seeing where it was hitting. That's sometimes a problem, right? Before I load it, y'all know what an unloaded gun looks like, right? When there's no cartridges in it. Yeah, y'all knew that. That means it's unloaded, right? So I'm gonna flash it around a little bit. Since I have this out here, I get so many questions about, sounds like an FAQ, you know, about the Alec Baldwin thing, everything, anything happens, you know, in the real world, whatever that is, with firearms, and if people think I have any insight into it, and just like other, you know, gun folks who do videos or whatever, and we don't, you know, jump into all that stuff, you know, generally. It's for one thing, but I was going to talk a little bit about it. For one thing, the things that happen out in the world, whether it's an accidental or a intentional, you know, shooting or something on a movie set, accidental, whatever it is, a shooting, a murder, a school shooting, whatever the heck it is, you got to remember it has nothing really to do with us legal gun owners. You know, us over 100 million legal gun owners, you know, who go about our business and buy guns, shoot guns, trade guns, and, you know, show how to use them, whatever we do, you know, and sell guns, buy guns, you know, could own a gun shop. It has nothing to do, you know, the criminals have nothing to do with us. That's sorry, you know, any more than the serial rapists out there have anything to do with us men, right? Was that appropriate gender? I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. So it has nothing to do with us, you know. So anyway, so you want to be careful about jumping into all this stuff just because you're the gun collector on your street or at your company, and everybody knows you're into guns, and so you're supposed to know why things happen, or who, you know, what's going on, what's the motivation, why would he shoot somebody, why would, you know, someone have an accident with one of these, or, you know, why would some murder commit murder, you know, because you're a gun collector, you're a gun nut, you're one of us gun nuts, doesn't mean you're an expert on mental illness or or criminology or anything like that. So you want to be careful. It's one reason sometimes we're not quick to jump into things that, like major events that might happen that affect the gun availability or gun control issues, right away. It's just, it makes it sound like, okay, we're to blame or something, like Sandy Hook when that happened. I mean, someone's insane, that's not me, and someone else is responsible for letting that kid get a gun or something at Sandy Hook. That's not you, that's not me, right? So we just make sure that that's not us. We're not irresponsible with firearms. But anyway, so we're kind of slow to jump in on that stupid stuff and just ignore it most of the time, because we have no ties. You don't have any ties to that kind of stuff. But on single action, a lot of people don't understand, and I don't know in the movie shooting, the set, that'll come out. The jury will figure all that out. But all I can tell you is that, because some of you wonder, have never handled a single action, a traditional single action, and it is pretty much the case that, and I've seen some people doing videos on this, so we're not going to do that. But if you're just cocking the hammer and you let it go, it does have a stop, on the sear, on the hammer. And so now I've talked too about how you want to load just 5, because if it's resting against a firing pin like that, like you may be able to see that I can see the firing pin through in that crack. That shows you, see, it's right against the primer. That's why, that's an issue. We've done a couple, 3 videos on that. That's why I load 5 instead of 6 and all that kind of thing. That's a different issue. That happens. A gun can fire just from hitting it. You've seen me do that in the should you load 5 or should you load 6 video, right? But in terms of once you get it pulled at all, or even there, if you let go of it, it's not going to go in, except it's a pretty fragile kind of piece there. It could break. You wouldn't want to test it. Plus you're going to screw up your action. So I'm not going to drop my hammer, but I just want to show you, it does get stopped at half cock. You get to half cock, it's still stopped. If I pull back and slips off my hand, it's still going to stop. See, it's just going to stop. And back here, I hate to do that. It's going to be stopped because I haven't pulled the trigger, okay, but I don't want to let it fall. You're supposed to cock all the way back before you let the hammer go down. Okay, so it's not going to fall and hit the primer, probably, okay, unless the gun's broken, okay, or the trigger, the sear gives away or something like that, which is unlikely. Okay, just going to be hard on the action if you let it fall, unless you depress the trigger. Okay, if you got trigger depressed and you're doing all that, it'll go down any time. Okay, it'll go all the way down. All right, so that's all I know, but I don't know anything about that, what happened, and I haven't followed it that closely. But a single action, we've covered this extensively in our videos, how to be safe with them, and how not to shoot one, how not to carry one, and all that sort of thing. And this is the old action. But as far as a hammer falling, and getting to the firing pin, it's basically the same as a new one if you don't pull the trigger. So just to touch on that, okay, a little bit. Since I have it out, gosh, what a beautiful firearm. What a piece of history. As I've pointed out many times, and we have a lot of people still new, even some watching these crazy videos, this firearm was started out in 1873, this version of it, the 1873, the Colt Single Action Army. Can I load it, shoot again? I like to start to get an idea where to hold over there. It's been made continuously with just a couple of breaks, the World War II, and then they were slow getting back into it after World War II, but it's been made continuously basically since 1873 and hasn't really changed much. How many things can you think of like that? A hammer? The wheel? I don't know. They just haven't changed much at all. And I have one now made in 1874. We've not even done a video with it. Did a little short with it. All right, let me, y'all tell me if you see where it's hitting over there. I'm gonna hold on a little bit below the gong. kind of like metal. Okay, I don't know. That's going to be one of my challenges, to master this one at long range and figure out where to hold, because these typically you can shoot better than the shorter barreled ones. You know, my other 7.5 inch second generation, man, I can shoot that almost as well as my Model 29 8 3/8, because it hits right exactly where you hold, and I don't know, it just does. So let me try that. Let me try some of the jacketed ammo. So yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful firearm. And those grips, again, you go to look at that. Nice fit. Colt did a great job. I bought the grips, it was at the NRA meeting, I guess, that year. I paid for them, and they shipped them over to Colt, and they fit them at Colt. And because they fit these as they're, you know, finishing up the grip. That's why you can't just go buy any old grips you want for a Colt single action. They're not interchangeable, really. You get lucky sometimes, and they'll fit pretty well, but they actually do the finishing on the back strap and all that, you know, with the grips on, and you get it worked down together. You know, so that's hard to duplicate, isn't it? I have had one pair that amazingly, or a couple over the years, that just, wow, I put them on and they miraculously fit pretty well. I mean, it doesn't happen that often. So anyway, what else? What else? What else? I don't know. Make sure you're staying in touch with your representatives. You know, the crazy stuff never ends, of course. Oh boy, does it. Speaking of crazy, it is a crazy time, isn't it? It is a crazy time. But, you have to laugh at it or else you cry. Really, you have to laugh when you see what some people say in public with a camera in their face. And, whew, of course, I'm one to talk. Look at the stupid stuff I say. All right, I'm going to send out a jacketed round. See if I can tell any difference where I hit. Okay. Okay. Well, now that's where I thought I needed to hold. Okay, I've shot this some, you know, and okay, so I'm holding a little bit below it. So my hand loads, I don't know. It's a weird dynamic. I probably was holding too high because I didn't see anything hit the dirt with my hand loads. And I hit around left. And I'll try them again. It's really weird, and everybody has an opinion on it. Sometimes a lighter, often a hotter load will shoot lower. Okay, it gets out the barrel faster, and you know, at moderate ranges. That's really true at close ranges. You get some really hot, lightweight 357 ammo, for example, put up a target at 25 yards and shoot at it, get a hold, 357 Magnum, and take a few shots, okay? Just hot, really hot stuff. Lightweight, maybe some of that hot defensive stuff that's supposed to be so dramatic. And then just get some 158 grain standard loads and shoot them and take the same hold, and you'll see that those print higher, okay? A lot of reasons. I don't know. They're in the barrel a little bit longer during recoil. The lightweight, faster ones get out the barrel faster, and just that kind of stuff. But I don't know. But then when you get out at longer ranges with that exact same experiment, then that dynamic can change some depending on the caliber and the power of all of it and everything, because it could be those heavier bullets you're shooting at close range and lighter power, you know, everything. They lose enough of their momentum and everything at 100 yards, for example, that they are the ones that hit a little bit lower than the light, fast ones, because they are light and very fast. And they at 100 yards, they might print above it. So you got all that weird stuff going on. Again, it depends on the caliber and the weight of the bullet, the speed of it, length of your barrel, and all of that. So I get surprised sometimes. I'm a little surprised here if these are going high. I'll tell you an extreme example. I've told this before, maybe back in the 80s. Hate to admit it, but I've known 10 Outdoors 9, the other YouTuber. Many of you know he does ballistics tests and things. Check him out, 10 Outdoors 9. And I've known him a long time before either one of us were doing videos. Okay, and empty chamber. I think it was him. Yeah. He came out. He had some Glazer with a G. Glazer safety slugs. I don't know if they still make those or not. But that was one of those magic bullets back in the day. I think they were 357 Magnum, I guess. Yeah. And or I had them. I don't know. But anyway, he was going to take a shot at water. We filled up a water jug, gallon water jug. That's back before we'd shot much of that kind of stuff. And that was so cool to do it. And we didn't want to waste it. We wanted to hit it, wherever you have to get to hit it. We're just on the main range there, which was different at that time. And he got back at, I don't know, 20 yards or 15 and missed it, shot low. And he'd been shooting there and everything, and he missed it like 2 or 3 times. Like I said, you're going low. Just get closer. And then finally he hit it on like the 5th or 6th shot, I think, and of course it blew it up. But it was that was a perfect case of that, because those Glazer safety slugs, I don't know what weight they were. They were like 90 grains or something for a 357 Magnum, 38 Special, 357 Magnum, I guess. So they're very lightweight for that caliber and very fast. They're like a little rifle round, okay? And so he had been accustomed, and me too. I mean, I had the same issue with them. They just, print low. And it's something to be aware of. I've advised folks on that for years, that you learn to shoot your 357 or your 9mm, whatever it is, your 40 or 45, and with the standard weight ammo, like I'm shooting here, 250 grain, 230 grain, whatever. And he said, well, I'm going to carry this for defense. I'm going to get the hottest and the fastest and the most dramatic round. I don't care what they cost, and you buy a pack of 10 of them, for $100 or something. It doesn't matter. It's for my defense. It's worth it. And they're extremely lightweight and they're extremely fast. Well, guess what? You're at a different point of impact with those things, and a different feel, different recoil, different noise. They're going to be really, really loud, like touching off of those things. Were like touching those Glazer safety slugs, almost like touching off a 5.56 AR-15. So I always advise you, be careful of that. Make sure you shoot enough of those to know, where they go, what they feel like, where they're going to hit, and all that sort of thing, and make sure they're actually what they're supposed to be. So dramatic, And then think about sitting in court and explaining why you have that too, and probably no problem. Just think through all that. So anyway, it was an eye opener for both of us, and I've noticed it over the years. Whenever you're shooting a lighter, faster bullet, it's just going to print lower at close range, at least with a handgun. Okay, at moderately close ranges. Now again, if you're at 7 yards and 5 yards, it's not going to make much difference. So it really depends on the distance. All right, so all that physics I got into took the whole show. This is a show. Pretty lame show, huh? All right, let me try again now. All right. Oh, saw that one. Saw that one. I knew that one was going to hit. Okay, so I was not holding low enough with the hand loads. They are printing a little higher. That's a little bit of a surprise. Okay, so yeah, I held lower, a fair amount lower than I was with the federal, which is what I've been shooting the most. And yeah, I saw those first two, or two of the three or whatever, hit just barely below it, a little bit to the left. Yeah, so because I was holding lower, and so on that one that hit it, I said, okay, let me make sure my elevation or my windage is right here. I'm gonna bring it up just a hair, and bong, got it. So I know where to hold. So I appreciate y'all's help. Click. I knew it. Yeah. I think y'all have helped me through this a few times over here, figure out loads. That's one of the things you do when you just go out shooting and plinking around, which is kind of what this is, even though I'm talking to you all too. Bring out something I want to shoot. Maybe I discover some things about it I don't like, or I discover where some ammo hits, and what a load does, and that kind of thing. So good to know. Good to know where your firearms print. Even if they're not your defensive firearms, it's good to know, right? What else was I going to bore you with? I don't know. Well, let's see. I got to have some advice for young people. Do I have any? I know one thing. I've been seeing some interesting financial stuff, videos and some articles lately, and just a reminder for me to remind young people and anybody that really need to, I think, get one of the best things you can do as a young person. And I know it's tough when you're starting out, whatever you're doing, but to keep your finances under control, it just makes your life so much simpler. You sleep better at night, and you may have to have some kind of debt. I don't know, student loans, all that stuff. But boy, keep it under control as much as possible, because it just eats away. It eats away at your opportunities for ever getting ahead. At some point, and nobody likes to think about retirement. I never did like to think, that's later, that's way later. I don't worry about that right now. But don't think of it as retirement. Think of it as financial independence. When are you going to be able to? We all talk about, people talk often about, well, how great, if I were independently wealthy, here's what I would do. If I were independently wealthy, whatever. Well, that's kind of what you're working toward, not necessarily wealthy, whatever wealthy means. Wealthy means whoever makes more than I do, right? They're rich. They're the rich ones. They're the wealthy ones. But financial independence, to where you don't have to work unless you want to, or you can do what you want to do. Okay, that's really what you're working for. Forget that word, that ugly word, retirement, that scary word, or that word that you associate with old people like me. Think of it as financial independence is the word. Think about it. What if you could be financially independent when you're 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, whenever that happens? Think about the dumb boss you have at work, or the job you have you don't like, or whatever it is. That ought to be motivation for looking into the future and say, okay, now if I do this, this, and this, if I save this much, and you compound interest calculators all over the internet, they're simple to find. All you have to do is figure it out, what it is. If you're in some kind of index fund, whatever you put it in, and the market, generally, is going to generate, 6 to 10%, whatever. Just go ahead and run the numbers. It'll tell you when you could be possibly financially independent, barring crazier inflation, whatever it is. But so you can run those numbers. It's just like planning a trip. You got to drive to somewhere that's 300 miles away. You figure out, when do I need to leave in order to get there in time, and maybe allow for car trouble or traffic jams and that kind of. You just use, okay, I know I can be in Bowling Green, or I can be in Cleveland or whatever by this time. We all have to plan. So just think, what you're making right now, what you're apt to be making maybe in 5 years or 10 years. And just look at it realistically. Okay, when am I going to have enough money saved? And then also based on my investments, in the standard growth, how much am I going to have? Just look at it. Look at your net worth. What's your net worth? Start it right now. What's your net worth? Put it on paper. Okay, I owe this, this, and this, and I've got this, that, and that, and my car, and this and that, savings. What's your net worth? Every year or every couple of years, just look at that again. What's your net worth? And if you're not making progress, you got to figure out a way to make progress. That's simple. Reduce expenses or get another job or something, you know. But think about that stuff. Don't just ignore it because you don't like to think about it. Yeah. Don't just ignore it because I don't understand finance and all that stuff. Well, it's pretty simple. You know, how much money you need to live on every week. And what if you don't have a job? How are you going to do that? You know, so, and then think about, hey, I'd like to be at a point sometime in the next 20 or 30 years, whenever it is, when I don't have a job, and then I have means to support myself or whatever. So anyway, just think about that. Don't get depressed over it, but just think about it, because it's. And then the other thing, of course, is whatever you save in your 20s is like way more powerful than anything you save in your 30s even, or 40s especially, right? By the time you get to be 50 or 60 or my age, it's like a lot more money. So that dollar you put away right now is a really valuable dollar, much more valuable than that dollar you put away when you're 50 years old. You know, so anyway, that's my advice to young people. My other advice to young people is, well, anybody, there's nothing more, well, I guess there is, but there's little more, I've said this before, there's little more annoying or obnoxious than a overbearing police officer, cop, okay? Yeah, we've all had an experience, a bad experience with a police officer. Many times it was probably our fault. We were really speeding. We didn't think we were. We did run that red light. We thought we didn't, or whatever it is. And we may have caused the bad feelings because we were convinced we didn't run that light or whatever it was, or we caught that cop on a bad day, or he just had the last 13 people have tried to talk their way out of the speeding ticket or whatever it was. So everybody's human. But so there's nothing, hardly anything worse than that, having a really obnoxious cop, you know, or overbearing cop. But it doesn't happen that often. It's just rare. Most cops are like you or me, your brother-in-law, your dad, your son, your daughter. They're just folks. I've ridden with a lot of them. They're just regular people, okay? But what you got to do is, if you do get stopped for something, and apparently a lot of people are not getting this advice when they're young or when they're older, from anybody in their life, you have to do exactly as they say. We had a situation in Nashville here just a couple days ago where somebody got shot. It was an accident, traffic accident. I don't know all the specifics, except that the officer rolled up and I don't know, I had a few words with him about what to do, and the guy went back to his car and he started grabbing for a gun on the dashboard apparently. And I don't know what the intent was or what was going on, but you know, he didn't follow instructions and was shot. Fortunately, it's in the legs, I think, or something, but I don't know all the details of that. But it happens so often that people don't think they need to comply with what a police officer tells them. Yeah. Now I'm kind of I've got a strong rebel side to me, not as in Confederacy. I've got a strong rebel in me. You know, I like to do my own thing, and it's just I'm that way too. So I appreciate it. I like to think outside the box and do my own thing, and leave me alone if I'm not bothering you, that kind of thing. But I also like to survive, and I can empathize with a police officer's situation. I've kind of been there, you know, as a volunteer. You virtually have no option. You know, if you are stopped, if you're around a police officer and they are telling you to do something and you can tell it's serious, you know, they stopped you, you're speeding, they say, "Police sir, put your hands on the wheel," or "Do this," whatever you do, you just do it. There's no option there. This isn't like when mommy says, "Clean up your room or make your bed." "No, I don't want to." Yeah, I mean, apparently a lot of people have that, some people who haven't survived have had that attitude. It's just beyond the pale, beyond the pale. I mean, my entire life, if I get stopped for speeding, just common sense. My hands on the wheel. I mean, I read all that somewhere or whatever, even back in the day. You just want your hands visible. Hands on the wheel, out of courtesy to the police officer. As he walks up, she walks up to the car, all that. And if you have to go into the glove box to get your driver's license or something, hands on the wheel. Say, officer, I need my registration is here in the console. Is it okay if I get it out, or it's in here, can I get it, or it's in my wallet, I need to get my wallet out? And then they will tell you what to do. They may ask you to get out of the car before you get your wallet, or whatever it is, because they're interested in being surviving. They don't know you, they don't know what you might be doing, right? So they're not doing it generally to be obnoxious or be on a power trip. They want to survive. They do this every hour or more often, and they encounter some real dangerous people occasionally. So they don't know you, they don't know me. So anyway, just be aware of that. Apparently, adults are failing miserably in advising young people on that topic. So I just feel like, man, we need to spend time on that one. That is basic as what? What else? I don't know. Take your shoes off before you go to bed. I don't know. That is just basic. Once you get stopped or whatever's going on, if you walk down a sidewalk, you're in a car, whatever, you just do what they say. Now, if they are being overbearing, there's some cops having a bad day, maybe you shouldn't even be in that business of trying to help people, or in law enforcement or whatever. Horrible people person, is burned out, needs to be doing something else, needs to retire, whatever it might be. And he is unreasonable and berating you unnecessarily. I've had one or two of those actually in my life, but that's another matter. You still have to do what he or she says. I mean, unless it's, jump off that bridge, okay? And then you deal with that the next day. You go back and you write and you call whoever his or her superior is, and you write letters, you post on the internet, whatever you want to do. You get an attorney, and you sue him, and you try to sue the department, and you just raise more ruckus than anybody can imagine. Do all of that. I would make it my mission in life if I ever get really, really bad treatment. Okay? But not right then and there. That is not the time to do it. Wow. You just don't put yourself in their place. Anyway, I don't know. I've never understood how people could be that dumb, really. You're playing with your own life. I think we people who carry a firearm are even more aware of that, right? I'm stopped by a police officer. I've got a firearm just like he does or she does. And so they necessarily could be a little nervous. And so anyway, that's some of my advice for youngsters and anybody that needs it. Anybody needs it. Can I shoot again? Okay. All right. So I figured out a little bit about this gun, and I love to shoot it. And in my family, well, I started to say it's a historical piece, but I guess 5 years does not history make, right? But it's a significant piece, put it that way. It's one of three. One of three. So let's shoot something. How about a 2-liter? How about a bowling pin right here? How about a plate? How about a cowboy? Let's hit him again. I think it's empty. Did he fire 4 or did he fire 5? Was I out of the picture? Okay. Maybe that wasn't me firing since I was hitting. That's something that from the very beginning doing this, John and I have always been careful about. I guess early on especially. Later in recent years, if somebody thinks we're trying to hoodwink them, so be it. There's enough trolls out there that think they think all sorts of things, of course, about anybody in the public eye, me, John, everybody else, you know, but we're, well, you know, all the criticisms, but we didn't want, because some of the things I did, like shooting at 230 yards with the various pistols, because one of the things we started out doing was kind of demonstrating that like a Glock 26 or whatever it was, 27, could be accurate, is more accurate. A lot of people used to be of the opinion that little baby guns, short guns were not very accurate. And even the snub-nosed 38 or whatever. And I learned differently when I got into, I used to be the same way. I didn't want a snub-nosed 38. Who'd want one of those? I can get anything with it. And I went to a match in Columbia, Tennessee. Here I'm going on a wild tangent, but it was in Columbia, Tennessee, and in the 80s. And I don't know, there was actually an early 3-gun match before 3-gun matches were a thing down there. I actually won one. I lost the, what did I lose? I lost the, I think I won the pistol part of it and the shotgun. Didn't win the rifle part of it, I think. But anyway, be that as it may, I was really excited about it because I don't know, I hadn't won a match yet, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, they had a snub gun side match down there. I think the first time I saw it, well, maybe I did compete in it the first time. Someone lent me a 38 maybe. This was like 87 or something, 1987, I don't know. And we were shooting just paper targets. It was kind of like a police a qualification thing. And we all shot it, and I was shooting somebody else's gun, I think. You know, I brought mine the next time and just did it a couple of times. But I was impressed with how well everybody, you know, shot at that distance on those targets. And it just changed my opinion of that. And then when I got into carrying guns, different things, I wanted to carry the smallest gun I could that would shoot well. And so anyway, that was kind of a myth, more so then than now. 14 years ago. Wind's getting up out here. It's supposed to rain. But so one of the early things we were doing was I was just dispelling myths, and I'd shoot a pistol at long range and show that you can hit something with it, and at the 230 yard and all that. Of course, the resolution on the camera was bad and all that. John would zoom in on it and everything. But back to my point, I didn't lose it. Even then, though, we just wanted to make sure we weren't trying to do anything, pull any wool over anybody's eyes, whatever that means. And so when I would start shooting, you know, John would have me and the whole range, you know, in the field of view. And then when I'd hit it once, then he would zoom in on the gong. That was pretty much the plan. I think we did on all of them. And then I would proceed to just shoot whatever the gun held at the gong across this hill to 230 yards. And I didn't hit it every time, but I hit it enough to make it interesting, I thought. And but yeah, early on especially, so, okay, there are going to be so many people that think, oh yeah, you picked up the rifle. What are you shooting at that? You know, if you just started out on the gong and was just looking at the hits. So anyway, that's just something we've always wanted to do. I don't know if we worry about it as much now. I guess we still do to some extent, because for one thing, you head off the trolls, and you head off people who are maybe they're not trolls, they're just are envious trolls. They're just so inexperienced with shooting, they think that would be impossible, you know. And I can see that. I can understand that, because if you don't shoot, as I've said before, the only reason I can hit most of what I'm trying to hit is I shoot all the time and have shot for 50 years. But there's so many people way better than I am. And but if you don't shoot, if you've never shot a handgun, never fired one, I mean, again, you know, you folks are just starting out with handguns. It's hard, isn't it? It's hard. You go to the range, or you go wherever you shoot, and you just get frustrated at times. it's not easy at all. It's like shooting giving your grandmother who never played sports at all a basketball, and to go out there and shoot some goals. You shoot from the free throw line. Well, she's probably not going to hit anything. Probably going to, not even touch the rim or anything. But a layup might be the same. Even if she has the strength, she may not hit the rim on a layup or anything. It's just awkward, and then you gradually build. You gradually see progress. That's why it's so fun and addictive. That's like throwing darts. No matter how bad you are, you're going to gradually see progress. Just with shooting guns, it's more expensive, right? So I don't know how I got off on all that. All kinds of stupid stuff, really. Probably should let you go after I take a couple more shots. So anyway, I hope you did enjoy the Christmas tree hunt and the harvest we do every year. There's all these things we do every year. If you're new, and those things I generally get in a playlist. Now, most of our videos are not in a playlist, but some of those series like that are, and I think I need to put that one in the playlist. I think I have a Christmas tree hunt playlist. If not, I can make that one. That's not too hard. But like the pumpkin kills and the pumpkin carving each year. We've done these things for like 10, 12 or more years, those annual events. And so if you've missed those, go back and check them out. Every year we harvest a Christmas tree. And guess what we usually do it with? Yeah, something that goes boom. And it's generally something different every year. So if you're new, it's just like carving a pumpkin. It's just a matter of deciding what the tool is going to be. Okay? Oh man. So many years, so many videos. Let's try that dog again. Yep. Just so you wouldn't think that was a fluke, and you would know that I did figure it out. Mr. Cowboy, you need a bullet. Yeah, you need another bullet. Yep. When you're firing one of these, a cowboy, a desperado just seems to be a good target, doesn't he? Getting a little smoky and dirty, but he'll clean up like a new one. There I go, signing gender. Yeah, these are sweet. And many of you, most of you all really appreciate these fine vintage firearms, just as you do the other things we do. And it's all, again, the only thing that perplexes me, I still would think that Civil War rifles would be more interesting to more people. I guess unless you use clickbait or something, you just can't, people don't realize what it is maybe. It was funny. We did you might have seen the short we did. We're trying to do shorts every now and then. We did one with that 1855 Springfield Civil War rifle. You saw that probably. Over 2 million people have seen it in, a week? I think it's 2.5 million or 3 million already, and it's just been up for about a week. It's a short. And it's just taking that 1855 Springfield Civil War rifle, loaded, and actually didn't do a good job. I did it, but loaded, just shot, hit the gong. Just simple those things have to be under a minute. And 3 million views or whatever it is. I mean, bizarre. But yet then I posted the same week, basically, a video on that gun, a real video. And it's, it doesn't have 1 million views, let's put it that way. But it may never get more than 100,000 views. It's just weird. I guess I don't know if it speaks to attention span, or it speaks to just the nature of the shorts, which are like Instagram, the shorts, or TikTok or something, and the way they are promoted by it. That's probably what it is more than anything. It shows you the algorithm of YouTube as much as anything, and what is going to show up and get promoted or whatever. And they're really promoting the shorts right now, I think. Even though there's no revenue from that sort of thing, they're maybe that's why they don't have to pay, but they are either, I don't know, maybe it's an algorithm thing with that, but it's just, boy, the contrast, you know, I mean, after a couple of days or three, the video on that gun had about 50,000 views or so. And that thing had, after a couple of days, had 200 or 2.5 million views, you know, and it's like, okay. And it's interesting because so many comments I saw on that short, I could tell that a lot of them were young people, or some of them were young people that made the comment about, oh, it was so cool, you know, and other people just loved that thing. I said, well, I mean, but you can't, how do you get in touch with them? Hey, guess what? If you really like that rifle, there's a video on that rifle just above it or wherever we just posted, you know. So it's a strange thing, YouTube. People don't go to the home channel like I do generally. If I'm looking at some people I follow, I don't wait for them, as I've said before, just to whatever's suggested. You know, I know they're doing videos that I watch or would probably want to watch. I don't see them all maybe, but I'll go to their channel and I'll just look at recent videos. What's the last thing someone did? Or if I see a video I like that just randomly that somebody did, and I discover things like that all the time on all kinds of topics. And I'll be watching, I'll click on that person's name and I'll go to their channel. That's all you have to do. And I'll click videos and just so I can see what all do they do. They do more like that on that topic or what? And I'll just go down through their most recent videos, maybe the most recent 20 videos or something. And sometimes I don't find anything like what I was watching and nothing I want, but then others I will. And I'll pop around and watch 2 or 3 videos, you know. But I think most people just rely on their subscription working, which doesn't work most of the time, right? And then just whatever is suggested or they happen to see. So it's just the Wild West of the internet. It's really weird. There's not a lot of logic in so much of it. So I said I was finished, but can I shoot a few more? Another magazine worth. Is it a magazine or a cylinder? The cylinder is the magazine, isn't it? Holds the rounds. Well, it's unloaded. Let me give you another look at it. You see the difference in a little bit dirty, and how the light picks that up. Look at the end of that, the carbon. It all cleans up. Little ballistol. Yep. Yeah, by the way, appreciate ballistol stuff. I've used a lot lately. We've been going, you know, through these Civil War rifles and everything. And then Talon grips. In fact, I bet I've got a Talon grip firearm in my pocket. Look at that. Look at that. Glock 43. X. But yeah, the old Colt single action, they're just a wonderful piece of hardware. Hardware. And again, it doesn't have to be a Colt. I know I'm a little bit of a snob. I've been doing this so long. But you know, a Cimarron or Uberti, Taylor's and whatever replica, you know, just as cool, literally, and you will enjoy it. You will enjoy it. They're made the same way. I mean, pretty much exactly. Okay. All right. Got to shoot 5 more of these things. I thought there was something else that y'all were dying to know. But, I mean, I figured you'd let me know if there was, right? Okay. I might get really frisky. I'm going to try that. See the turkey hanging over there? I replaced the coffin with a turkey hanging over there. All right, doing the Davy Colt justice, huh? Click. Yeah, in 100 years, I hope my grandson, you know, has this. Well, unless I'm still alive. But in about 100 years, I hope, well, yeah, let's say 80 years maybe, that he's out shooting this and enjoying it. Okay? And that should be the case. Should be the case. Yeah, it lasts long. And if enough of you all get into gunsmithing so that you keep guns running if they need it, you know, for the next century or 2 or 3, then there shouldn't be a problem. But a gun like this is just a beautiful, beautiful piece. You know, the simplicity of it, like I was saying, there is a kind of a zen, you know, to something like this where it's slower to load, slower to shoot a lot of ammo. The way it operates, you know, it's just so simple. There's no magazines to lose, and you just pop those rounds in. It's a piece of machinery that's just fun to deal with and work with. So, and it's been around a while. It's been around a while. So, I guess that's about all you need to know, right? There was something. Oh yeah. Oh, I know about that muzzle loader. Now I'll let you go. The Civil War rifle. Might need to do a video on this. There were a lot of comments. There always are a lot of comments when we do the Civil War rifles, the 58 calibers. You know, I guess I've talked about this, but one of them I actually copied and pasted. Said, yeah, someone said probably the most deadly weapon to ever hit somebody at a distance. It won't shred through your body and stop with all that shattered bone, different things. And there's so many comments like that about the 58 caliber Civil War muskets. And just think about that. And all that's true. No matter what Civil War documentary you're watching, with Shelby Foote talking about it, he'll talk about the same thing. And I mean, a lot of learned people, really intelligent people, a lot smarter than I am, they talk about that all the time, the devastation of those mini balls and how they were so effective and so devastating, and they go on and on and on about that. Almost anybody you hear talk about the Civil War. Well, yeah, they're right, but as a bona fide gun nut, I think about things occasionally at Firearms, and part of the reason they were so devastating is what? The medicine of the time, the treatment. You're in the middle of a battle. You don't have helicopters able to come in and medevac people out to a hospital. You don't have any of that. They don't even know about germs, I guess, yet, hardly. And if you get shot in the arm, they just cut it off. You know, and same with the leg, and cut the limb off. And a lot of that is because of the medical capabilities of the time, right? And the ability to get people treated and saved from their wounds. Okay, if you fast forward to 2021, you have the same battle, and you got helicopters standing by, hospital units, and you've got all the medicine we have to treat the infection, and you've got surgeons to repair the bone that's broken in half. I mean, it's a different story. I mean, I guess another way to think about it is, what if you gave all those soldiers, those guys, instead of, you took the musket away and said, here's another single shot, but this one fires a 308, 7.62 by 51, or 30-06 round, and single shot, and you got the same, ability to fire. Let's say it's slow to load, but you like the muzzle loader, but it's firing 30-06 round. What would be the difference? Is it a 30-06 or a 308, a kinder, gentler bullet? Is it not going to break bone? Is it not going to go through somebody, or what? Full metal jacket. So anyway, just lest you think it's more devastating than it really is. I mean, it's devastating. That's the thing. It's a bullet that big. Whether it's a 58 caliber musket, it's a 308, it's a 30-06, and we could name some others. I won't get into the 5.56 thing. Is devastating too, but the human body is not designed to withstand that. You need medical care quickly, or you're going to lose a limb or your life, right? Whichever one of those hits you, and I don't know that there's that much difference. And I think that's what a lot of people might infer when they hear all those comments and read about it, and they don't think about it or think it through, unless I'm all wet, unless I'm not thinking about it correctly, tell me. But to me, I don't. As much as I love and would fear that 58 caliber mini ball, I don't know. If somebody's going to shoot me with one from over there on the hill, and I have a choice. They're going to put a bullet in my arm or my shoulder with a 58 caliber mini ball from a Civil War musket. I've got a choice between that or a 30-06 or a 308, an M14. I'm talking just one round. Man, I don't know. What do I want to have hit me? None of the three is a good choice, and no one of those three seems like it's like that much worse or better than the other to me. So I don't know. If you're a surgeon, tell me what you think. So anyway, I just like to point that out. That's a lot of the reason that there's so much talk about that, so much emphasis on that mini ball, that 58 caliber mini ball, just like it's a bomb. And it is wicked, no doubt about it. And then also someone mentioned about how they use soft lead so that it would flatten out on your bones and do more damage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, they use soft lead because that's really what they had. And all bullets were soft lead back then, right? I don't know that they used any hard cast bullets or put anything else in them. During Civil War days I'm talking about. And I think even, I don't know, when the cartridge bullets like these came about, and that's a good question I just asked myself, in the 1870s, like 10 years later, they might have been using like some tin, and because they might have been hard cast like these. I don't know. They might have been swage soft lead still. I don't know. I have to research that. But, muzzle loading balls are pure lead, just use pure lead. Okay, so pure lead is softer than what's in these bullets because these are a mixture of antimony and different things a little bit, and that's just to mainly prevent the leading in the bore. So, because you got smokeless powder behind it, you got more leading possibilities there. It's hotter and everything. So yeah, muzzle loading today. If you go buy some mini balls, you go buy round balls for a muzzle loader. Guess what? They're pure lead. They're the same thing, soft lead. Pure lead is the softest lead. There's nothing mixed with it. And so I think, I don't know, there's another question. Okay, you researchers out there, you do all the research for me on this. I don't know when we started mixing with lead something, tin, antimony, whatever, in order to make it harder in terms of for rifles, or smooth bores or anything. I would guess that's after the muzzle loading era, and probably into the 1870s at least. I don't know. So anyway, lead was soft then, it's soft now. It's the same, If you go buy some balls to shoot some Hornady, I think a Hornady, because I know they always have a long stack of them, they kind of specialize in that, and having round balls for your various muzzle loaders, whatever you're shooting them in, whether it's a percussion pistol or a rifle or anything, they're pure lead. If they've got them at Cabela's today, it's pure lead. So, I don't know if that was by design. They made them out of soft lead. So, lots of myths out there and lots of things like that we hear, and I don't know, and I don't know everything, but some of those things I can talk about a little bit with just a little bit of. I don't know about authority, but I just kind of know a little bit about it. Enough to be dangerous. So I guess I've shot enough. I've worn out your ears enough. And I appreciate y'all coming around on a Sunday. This is a Sunday shoot-around. It's a little late to be saying this, but if you don't know what a Sunday shoot-around is, well, you probably didn't last this long. You probably just left a hate comment and left already. There's usually one of those I'll see. So they're a surprise. What is this guy doing? He's just talking, yeah. Well, I enjoy this and enjoy coming out, bringing out a favorite firearm. And guess what? Next week I'll probably do the same thing, unless it's too cold. Like I said last week, if it's really cold, I'll just talk to you in the barn, maybe in the shed. And I will, if I don't shoot in a Sunday shoot-around, like I said, I will post a shooting video of some kind the same day. Okay? So you will have a Sunday shoot around. It'll just be in 2 different videos. How's that? Okay? Now don't let me forget, I don't want to make myself into a liar. All right? So I don't know what the weather's like next week. But if it's really, really messy, I don't want. I want this to be fun. If it were really messy and 25 degrees, I wouldn't just come out to shoot. And so that's kind of what this is, just coming out at least once a week, and not doing a video, just shooting a gun I want to shoot. And so I'm not doing a video. So forget that the camera's here, right? That's what I do. So I'll shut up and let you go. I really do appreciate y'all's support in so many ways. We're over here on the Gong Club range, of course, and appreciate y'all coming back, and hope that you get a chance to do some shooting. I know ammo is really expensive. Wow. And believe it or not, I do buy a fair amount of ammo. I buy a bunch of ammo for my AKs and different things, and I've ordered $500 or $600 worth of cast bullets this past couple of weeks, and just various things. Bought some powder, a couple $100 worth of powder. I may spend a lot of money on all that kind of stuff too, but gosh, I'd be spending a ton of money if it weren't for federal. So we really appreciate them and all the folks that help us out. You know who they are. We appreciate you supporting them when you can, when it makes sense. So I'll take my old Colt single action and back to the shed and give her a good cleaning, and fondle it a little bit, and tuck it away for another day. Yep, like I said, if you haven't seen that video, what's wrong with you? But if you haven't seen the video, Colt single action, 3 generations. Okay, a little play on that word or phrase, because there are generally 3. Some people call they declare a 4th generation Colt, but I don't know. I think a lot of people still say 3 generations. You got the pre-World War II, and then you got the second generation. That's the first. Then you got the second generation, started in 1956 and ran up into the late 70s or 1980 or something along in there. Late 70s, I guess. And then everything after that, kind of 3rd generation. Some people, I don't know, sometime in the 2000s, I think, see it as a 4th generation. But basically, I still look at it as 3. And so you got a little bit of play on that. But then you get the double meaning, right? 3 generations, and for me, for my son, and for my grandson, the consecutively numbered Colts. So appreciate you coming out and bearing with me and enjoying seeing some big, heavy 45 Colt slugs fly across the range and occasionally hit. Life is good.